The Whitehall Palace, London. The Palace of Whitehall was erected upon a site originally occupied by a large mansion built in the year 1214 in the reign of Henry III by Rupert de Burgh. The Whitehall Palace was the main residence of the English monarch in the London from 1513 until 1698, when most of its structure, except for Indigo John's 1622 banqueting house, were destroyed by fire. Before fire, in 1698, it had gone to be the largest palace in Europe with over 1,500 rooms, overtaking the Vatican and Versailles. The palace, has been said, was originally known as York House. Used as an official designation of the palace, dates from the beginning of the reign of James I. The palace gives its name Whitehall to the road on which many of the current administrative buildings of UK government are situated, and hence metonymically to the central government itself. History. Hubert du Bourg, who built the palace in 1214, seems to have made a vow to go to the Holy Land to fight the infidel. His vow he was unable to fulfill owing to his death, which occurred in the year 1242. He therefore left his property of Whitehall to the Church of the Blackfriars. They sold the palace to Walter the Grey, Archbishop of York, who died in 1255, and from that time until the fall of Cardinal Wolsey, a period of nearly 3 centuries, it was London residence of the occupants of the See of York, 30 of whom dwelt there in their official capital. The building was accordingly known during that period as York House. A palace fit for a bishop was in those days a palace fit for a king. During the residence of the last occupant Cardinal Wolsey, that York Palace began to be invented with that splendors which is usually associated in our mind with the word palace. Upon his major disagree in 1529, it was delivered to the king by charter, which annexed it to the ancient palace of Westminster. In Whitehall, then after various alterations and buildings has been completed, the king fixed his royal residence, and it was the dwelling place of his successors until the disaster fire in 1698.
Architecture. Whitehall Palace was in the Tudor style of architecture. It included a gallery which the king threw across the street, a cockpit, a tennis court which stood on the site of the present Treasury building, and other buildings for various kinds of amusements. A beautiful gate alongside the banquet house, and a magnificent gallery which had been brought from Easter and which ran northward to the Charing Cross. Henry also built a chapel and a spacious room for entertainment. Mr. Lofty's statement that very little building of any importance went on under Henry VIII or his immediate successors. The palace had fallen into dilapidated condition in the time of James I, and the king thought it is desirable to rebuild it on a magnificent scale. For this purpose, he secured the service of Inigo Jones. By the by, was appointed as the Surveyor General on October 1, 1613. The only part of the plan that was carried out, however, was the banqueting house. If Inigo Jones' design had been carried out, the palace would have extended in length to 1,152 feet on the bank of the Thames, north and south, and 874 feet east and west. The greater part of the building was to have been on 3 stories, each 30 feet high, with a total height to the top of the parapet of 100 feet. The remainder, as curtain wings to the main blocks and in design like banqueting house, was to be 75 feet high, divided into 2 stories. The plan was arranged around the courtyard, one of which was to be circular, and the great court would have weighed with that of the Louvre. In this design, proportion, elegance, and purity of detail are more happily combined than in any other Renaissance scheme of the kind. Banqueting house. The banqueting house or hall is the only important portion of the famous Palace of Whitehall that now exists. It is strange to reflect upon the various uses to which it has been put in the course of its existence. Installations, masquerades, and other ceremonies have from time to time taken place within its wall. It was built in 1622 by architect Indigo Jones. It was slightly modified after the fire in 1619. A lofty gallery runs along the two sides and across the end of the hall, which is 115 feet in length, 60 feet in breadth, and 55 feet in height. But in the chief point of interest in the interior of the building is, of course, the ceiling, for which Charles I, at the beginning of his reign in 1630, employed the services of Rubens, was executed and completed in the year 1635. It was executed in the reign of Charles I, who not only paid the artist for the work but also knighted him. The ceiling, divided into 9 compartments, is decorated with so many oil paintings by Rubens. The largest, in the center, of an oval form, contains the apotheosis of King James I. On the 2 long sides of it are great friezes with genii, who load sheaves of corn and fruit in carriages, drawn by lions, bears, and rams. All the proportion are so colossal that each of these boys measure 9 feet. The other 2 pictures in the center row represent King James as the protector of peace and sitting on his throne, appointing Prince Charles as his successor. Thank you.